is up, my ninjas? I am Strident, and today I'm here with a review that's kind of long overdue. It is the Transformers Dark of the Moon Ultimate Optimus Prime review. Now, I got this as a birthday present about 2 years ago when the movie came out. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago, or a year ago. Anyway, I got it for a birthday. My wife and I saw it at Target. I was like, wow, I can't believe they made a huge Optimus Prime like that. And for my birthday, she got it. I guess she didn't really realize how much I hated the movies, but she knows I like Optimus Prime, so it's kind of a safe bet. So I'm gonna go through and show you, compare and contrast that the Ultimate Optimus Prime to my others and my favorite. Now, I left out the Masterpiece Prime because that's just unfair, and plus he's like way bigger in scale and everything, so I didn't bother. But as you can see, the Ultimate Prime truck is actually bigger than the Transformers Prime truck, and you can't use the trailer that goes to this one with that one, which is what I was kind of hoping once I realized that this is what they got me. I do like the details. I mean, it looks like the thing from the movie for the most part in vehicle mode. And I'm going to point out some drastic differences, once we move from vehicle mode. Vehicle mode is really stellar. It looks the part. You got your Autobot insignias that are all nice and chrome. You got the red one for, in the back on the trailer. The trailer is very nicely done. I mean, all I could have asked for is some like embossed lines that were painted, along the little swoosh, that line that usually goes across the back. But I mean, this thing looks legit when it's transformed. I mean, if you really look closely to the under portion of the cab, or the trailer, you can see that there's all that mechanical shit. But I mean, if you just look at it from the front and the back and just ignore the bottom stuff, you really got a nice looking rig, and it doesn't feel cheesy, And I've been giving Hasbro props for this because I collect the Prime figures and the Generations figures, and they've been doing a good job making their vehicle modes look more and more realistic. Believable. And there he is compared to Prime. You can see how much smaller and how much bigger. I mean, they're to scale with each other. It's just two different types of Peterbilt trucks, which is kind of strange that they didn't just make them about the same size so that you can get similar height once you transform them. But I guess they weren't trying to. These Primes are getting smaller in the years after the films, or since the films. It seems like if you see the one from War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, these things are tiny, and they keep getting smaller. The new one is smaller than the last one. But these two in vehicle mode, they're close, but the Ultimate Prime is way bigger. They're in scale with each other, but they're different size. Now the same thing goes for the Robots in Disguise Prime. He is to scale with this cab, or with this rig. I don't know why I keep saying cab. I'm like leaving out part of it. He's just, it's because he's a big old fire truck, that it works. He's not the full length of the, the truck and the trailer, but he is long. It's comparable size. Now, the cool thing is that they still kept the whole, the front half is the robot and the back half is armament and extra armor and whatever. Anyway, here he is in robot mode. Here the rest of them are in robot mode, and he retains a lot of the things that the movie had. It's pretty close to what the movie looked like, give or take a few parts. But I just don't understand why they missed some things. And now I have a big picture here of Jetwing Prime, but I'm gonna get to that later. I just wanted you to focus on the small one. Maybe I'll go back and do something with that. I'll just leave it. But anyway, you see what I'm talking about. Some of those details are there. He's a little skinny in comparison to the movie, design. But that was one of my problems with the movie designs. I remember when my brother and I first saw him, we were like, how are you going to get this into a toy? It's just too much shit going on. And that's where I think they failed. It's one of the reasons why I think they failed with those movies. But you already know that I could go on forever about why they failed with those movies. Um, the Transformers Prime, I love a lot of the details. His head, though, does still look similar to the movie head. And the Robots in Disguise Prime looks way more similar to the animated series versions, you know? It's pretty faithful to that. It's like a streamlined version of everything that made up Prime. Their feet, of course, the movie Prime looks way crazier, whereas all the regular in-continuity versions of the Autobots have those feet, you know? Torso area, windows, and then other details that make up abs and everything else, and he still looks pretty much, you know, like Prime. So I give him props for that. I'm still not feeling the flames and all that shit, but whatever. They felt the need to combine Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime and Optimus Prime into one being and give you the look and feel of one with the look and feel of another, and I don't know. The back, you have kibble. It's just not a ton of kibble. That word always cracks me up. The backpacks are there. I mean, I really don't care about backpacks on my Transformers because, I mean, they have them. They seem to have always had them, so it's not a surprise to me, you know? I should have put the arms up, but you can see it looks good from the side to me. It's not hollow. Hands. Now, this is what pisses me off on this one. For whatever reason, his hands, the where the circle is and where the hole, I'm sorry, and where the back of the little square piece where his hand rests, guns bump up against it, so you can't really put guns in his hands. Things like that bother me when it comes to Transformers because they need their guns. Instead, they put MechTech ports all over this toy to make up for the fact that he can barely hold weapons properly. But he is posable. He's very posable, very stable. As you can see, nothing is holding him up there. I just have him standing up on particle board, and he's holding that kick. And, you know, it works. I'm glad they did that. You know, he's very posable in that sense. But there are more, I don't know, it's like for all the things he can do, there's like a billion things that he can't do that the less expensive figures can. For instance, Optimus Prime puts his hands on his hips a lot. And you'll see in the next picture, he can't do that. I mean, you get a lot of detail in this figure, don't get me wrong. But like I said, articulation is suffering, and pretty much you would think that you're getting a base figure with armor. He would be posable, you know, really posable. So look, here he is trying to bend his, you know, his arms. He can barely do that. That's as far as it goes. But look at all the others. It's just weird. The freaking 2001 or 2002 Transformers Robots in Disguise Prime, which is my favorite, can do that. It has better articulation than this brand new super high-tech movie Prime. That doesn't make any sense. I understand that the Transformers Prime one, I expected it to have perfect articulation, but how does the old Prime have better articulation than the new school one? Anyway, the thing we all came here for is the freaking cab, or geez, the trailer. The trailer is awesome. It looks awesome, especially in that mode. But I wanted it to do this, because in the movie, that's what it did. He crashed, or the driller knocked him over, and that was one of the coolest things in the movie. The trailer just automatically transformed when he capsized, and when Prime transformed, it transformed and said, here are all your weapons, come get something. Prime pulled out a sword and a shield. I was like, that is badass. So, you know, undercarriage, you can see all of the craziness going on over there. Most of that is the huge cannon. He has this ginormous cannon that has some mech tech to it, and it makes a lot of noise. Now, I have to reiterate, this is one of the most difficult things to transform ever. Of all the Transformers I've ever had, this thing is annoyingly difficult to transform. And it's not so much transforming everything into the armor, it's transforming it back. As you can see, there's lots of detail on everything. And that's one thing that the movies had, is an abundance of detail. This is the cannon, close-up of the barrel. that red button, you pull that back, or lever, you pull it back, and it gets the lights going and the sounds, and you get these cool transforming sounds and whatnot, and you know, a powering up kind of sound effect. And the blue parts and the clear parts, they kind of start flashing red and whatever, and you can kind of see it there, kind of giving you the impression that it's powering up. Now, for me, I've never been big on lights and sounds. I always would open up the figure and pull out the sound piece and cut the wires. But those little clear parts to the right of my thumb, or I guess the left of my thumb, they are they light up. Now, this is a huge cannon, as you can see, and part of the charm of all of this is that he holds it in front of him to blast the hell out of, you know, whoever. And there's buttons to the left and right that you press that give you different sound effects. Now, this is, you know, what happens with the armor when you open it out. I just wanted to show you the height. It's ginormous. And, you know, you can fold some of that back, but this is just when you get in the beginning portion of transforming it. So pretty much Prime just sits in the armor. You know, the arms are attached to the back, which is the top of the trailer. The feet are part of the trailer as well. You just pull down the shin guards and put his feet in there. You point his feet and you plug them in. There's little pegs that sit in the back of the leg, you know, shin guard things. And once you get them in there, I mean, everything fits pretty tightly. So you don't have any problem with like looseness once you get them in there. And trust me, you're going to need to push and make sure things get in there, and nothing is cheaply done as far as materials, because I've pressed and forced him into places, and it worked, you know. I watched a number of reviews that had the same issues. Those hands, pretty much the peg you can see going into his hand, put it in his hand. Plain and simple. Some of this stuff is self-explanatory when you see it, you know. In the back, you will have to fold the top portion. There's like a square, which is the back or the front end of the cab. You will have to fold that back. In the front, back, you know, to the front of the figure, this is the crotch piece. You will fold that up, and it has those two pegs that you can see. They plug into Prime's like lower crotch or lower stomach or abdominal area, and then those two side pieces clamp at the back, and they pretty much just add width to them. This is the top piece that I was talking about, that is the front end of the cab. You fold it back, and there is an extra arm piece with a double joint that will allow the top piece to sit in the back so that you can start moving the wings in place. Now, you know, you'll see there are some things where I know they did a Jetwing Optimus Prime. You know, after you've moved everything around, this is what you end up with, right? So I've seen the movie. He had two ginormous Gatling guns and or a ginormous Gatling gun and a cannon of some sort on one side. Why did we end up with this butterfly-looking thing with this giant cannon in the back? I mean, it's awesome that the figure's huge, don't get me wrong, and the design is pretty impressive, but I mean, if that's Jetwing Optimus Prime, what the fuck is this that we got? And it's so weird to me how Hasbro just seems to be so greedy that they hide or hold on to a design so that they can give us something other than what we saw in the movie. I mean, that's Jetwing Optimus Prime. Like I said, Gatling cannons. We didn't get Gatling cannons, we didn't get thrusters, we didn't get plane wings, because I mean, he got his wings from Jetfire. Instead, we got this whatchamacallit cannon. And then we got the pixie wings. And we got antennas. You know, like Optimus Prime is an angelic seraphim Cybertronium. I mean, I'm not saying that this is completely whack. It's just the fact that it's a movie licensed figure, and the movie had plenty of art, so anyone could look at these things and say, you know, this is what I want. I want that look. That's the figure I want. But then when you go and you buy what's available, you end up with something other than what you thought. Here he is with all the armor on, and no, the wings aren't expanded. And this is from part 2. But, you know, if this is what we remember from part 2, why isn't what we got in part 3? And in part 3, he did have all this crap on him. I mean, things looked a little bit different, but it definitely wasn't that. So, I mean, as impressive as this figure is, I mean, look how tall he is in comparison to Transformers Prime, Optimus, and Robots in Disguise Optimus. But here is something going backwards that I wanted to point out. So I like the Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime, right? That's my favorite of the regular mass retail primes, the basic assortment prime out there. And I love the fact that in the TV show, he had all these different modes. And one of his modes was like a powered up mode. And Transformers Prime is going to show you what that powered up mode was on Robots in Disguise Prime. And here we have it. It's like the super fire Prime. And I dug the fact that he got taller, he got more, you know, width and height to him, and just more body to him, you know? And he looks powerful, but he doesn't look ignorant. I mean, like, I can't even display that Jetwing Prime. I literally would have to clean off one of my shells and put him on top and let him sit there. This Prime, not only does he look the part from the show, but every weapon he had in the show, he has on the toy. And it makes sense. He's got the guns on his arms. He's got the giant cannon, that's the ladder cannon with the missiles, and all those missiles fire off. He's got the guns on his head as well. It's nice when you watch a show or you watch a movie, and then you go and you want to buy a figure that comes from said movie or show, and it actually reflects what you were watching. You know, I noticed with the G.I. Joe Retaliation figures, the first wave, you had like one movie accurate figure. Also, I'm sorry, his fingers can shoot off stuff. But like, why is it with these movie licensed, you know, toys, sometimes lately we haven't been getting what we're paying for. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for a movie, not a movie inspired line. We want the licensed movie line. That's what we're here for. So, you know, that's a little bit of a rant on how they're handling things, and I don't like that so many people just pass it off as just the way that it is. So we just get what we get. Now, I love the way that, you know, it looks as far as scale goes and variety in your Transformers. It's awesome that they made something so big. And considering how cheap Hasbro usually is with plastic these days, it's nice to be able to go back and see this and say, you know, okay, so there are things where they spend the time and give you the plastic that you need to make this figure feel, you know, official. And I dig that. So, you know, I won't complain about that. I just want more of the movie-related stuff to show up, or the TV show-related stuff to show up in my lines and in waves, you know, wave after wave of whatever figure. Last gripe, his head is so damn small. You would have thought that, like, maybe there would have been a piece that was a helmet that stayed on him when he's in this mode, you know? Not just the helmet that comes off the cannon. But, you know, overall, like I said, it's an impressive figure, don't get me wrong. Very impressive as far as size goes. He's not very feature heavy. All the sound, everything is all handled, sounds and lights are all handled by the cannon. But for me, honestly, I would have to say the draw of this figure is vehicle mode. I think his vehicle mode is kind of like, I think this figure is about $60 now. He was like 70 when it first came out. The fact that you got him finally with the cab. Oh, I keep saying that with the trailer. The fact that you finally got the cab and the trailer. And it's like a pretty heavy, it's a substantial trailer. It's nice. I wish that the trailer was as nice as the Fans Project G3 trailer. That thing is beautiful. And shout out to TransformersClub.com for the pics. And it's probably where I'm going to end up buying this thing. But somehow the Fans Project managed to get you create this number one, it's not a licensed trailer, so it has the looks without being 100% show accurate, but it has all the little details that was in the show without looking cheesy. You know, it doesn't look cheap, it doesn't look cheesy. I mean, it is a trailer and it is expensive, but you know, I would take this over Hasbro's attempt at giving us a Prime with the trailer, because it felt like their trailer is missing vital things. You know, look at that. That looks so nice. So nice. And it's strange how, like, you know, the movie was real technical and real overly detailed and shit, and it was like overkill in so many areas, but they missed all the important areas design wise for many of the Transformers. You know, Optimus Prime flying around is unnecessary because there are Transformers that can fly around. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where, you know, and look at the stealth mode. That is sexy. It's one of those smartest ideas they've had for a trailer. You know, the mirrors reflect everything, so you get stealth mode. I mean, granted, you know there are plastic in between spots, but still, stealth mode. It just makes so much sense. But, you know, vehicle mode is what I'm here for when it comes to the Ultimate Optimus Prime. It's beautiful that you get, you know, the full-on truck and trailer experience with Optimus, which is something that they always stiff us on with Optimus figures, and finally we get one here. So, you know, props to them for that. I wish that it transformed into things from the movie or things from the TV show, but since it doesn't do that, I'll take what they gave me. And, you know, since this was a gift and I didn't even go out and buy it, it's even better because, you know, I wouldn't buy movie stuff unless it's something really awesome like Sideswipe or Barricade. So, anyway, that is Ultimate Optimus Prime with a little bit of RID and Transformers Prime, Optimus Primes thrown in there. It is a worthwhile figure, especially if you are a fan of the movies, which I'm not. But if you love Optimus Prime, and you kind of have to have every Optimus Prime, then you kind of have to have this one. If you respect the fact that Hasbro just made a Prime with the trailer, and it looks nice together, go out and get it, because it'll cost you less to do this than it will to go out and get the Fans Project one. So price is kind of a, you know, it's a factor in getting this. So all in all, you know, okay figure. I give it like a C plus because, you know, there are some definite missed opportunities, a lot of them actually, but you know, it's not a horrible figure at all. You know, it's just not as movie accurate as something called Ultimate should be, because usually when the Ultimate prefix is put on a figure, it means it's the best version of the figure, and if it comes from a movie, it's usually movie accurate. So anyway, I'm Strider. That was Ultimate Optimus Prime. This is my review on him, and it's my story, and I'm sticking to it, and I will be back with another review shortly. So I will talk to you later. Peace, people.